I'm just going to record a few minutes because my Navi Shir got cut off at the end. So I had started a mashal that Rabbi Yossi had said a king had a daughter and he loved her very much and he called her Biti. Pasuk says in Tehillim, Shimi Bas Uri, hear my daughter and see. Then he loved her more until he called her Achosi, my sister. As it says in Shir Hashirim, Pischili Achosi Rayasi, open the door for me, my sister, my beloved. And then he loved her more until he called her Imi, my mother. As it says, Shimu Elai Ami Uluumi, Elai Ha'azinu. Listen to me, my nation, my kingdom, hear me. Don't read it Lu'umi, but Le'imi, my mother. When Reb Shimon Bar Yochai heard this interpretation of Imoy, that the Bnei Yisrael are called an aim, he kissed Reb Lazar on his head. B'yam Chasunasai is Matan Torah, when we made Hashem our king, and Yom Simchat Libo was the 8th day of initiation of the Mishkan. Very hard to understand what this mashal meant, that first somebody loved his child, so he called her daughter, then he called her sister, then he called her mother. Seemingly a person's love to his child would be stronger than any other love, more than the love to a sister and more than to a mother. The answer is there's two kinds of love. There's emotional love, and then there's something deeper, which is even intellectual love. A parent loves a child at birth, even though the child has not accomplished anything, has not done anything, but still, it's a natural love from a parent to a child. But what happens is when the child grows up and becomes perhaps an adolescent or a teenager and starts producing things of quality, all of a sudden there's more than just instinctive and emotional love. There's also a certain sense of appreciation, a certain sense of acknowledgement of the skills and qualities of this child. When the child gets older and really becomes very, very accomplished, then there's pride, there's nachat of seeing a child who has become more than just a teenager, has become an adult, and has become extremely, extremely successful. And the love that a person has to a child in adulthood is a more mature, it's a much deeper love than you simply have to a child as an infant. The infant is cute, the infant is adorable, but the adult deserves the love of recognition. When the Bnei Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim, there's a pasuk, Kinar Yisrael v'ahavehu. The Jewish people were a child, and God says, I loved him. I loved him. But the pasuk says about Eiram v'Erya, you were naked, you were unclothed, you had nothing. And then slowly but surely, we started to develop. We started to develop into a quick growth into adolescence. And finally, when it came B'yam Chasunasai, when we stood at Har Sinai, and we said Nasa v'Nishma, and Nasa v'Nishma, the Gemara says, was a quality that Malachim can only reach for, to be willing to totally believe in God and do what God wants without asking what it is. And then after that they threw their love into the building of the Mishkan, and on the 8th day of initiation, their love was at its peak, at its supreme, and they had accomplished the construction of that Mishkan with the requirements, not only the physical requirements, but also the emotional requirements. Then they certainly became imo, they became like a mother, they became an adult. And therefore, Tzena Arenu Benot Tzion, you Jewish people, even if you're in Golut, but you still have Mila, you still have Tefillin, you have Tzitzis, you're remarkable people. Seeking Shlomo and see how he appreciates you. He appreciates the crown that Imo, that the Bnei Yisrael as a mother gave him. And why are they called mother? Because they're no longer the naked child that came from Mitzrayim. They're no longer the adolescent that simply stood at Har Sinai and said Nasa v'Nishma, but they are an adult who has accomplished the construction of a Mishkan, a place for God's presence to rest. That's Yom Simchat Libo. That's the day of God's happiness. And therefore he calls the Bnei Yisrael, I now appreciate your talents and skills like one would appreciate an adult mother. So I'm going to stop here. That's Peri Gimel. I wish everyone a Yom Tov and a Shavua Tov and a healthy time. And Mirz Hashem, if we keep the instructions of the health department, the Belzer Rebbe used to say that you should follow traffic instructions like you follow the Aseres Adibros. So Aseres Adibros are important, and the protection of life is very, very important. So everybody should follow the instructions carefully, as long as it takes. Do what we need to do every single day. Smile a little. Anybody who's interested, send me an email. I'll send you some funny videos. I'll put a smile on your faces. In Kultov.